Hello, and welcome to Tales from the Twists, the podcast where we recap your childhood. My name is, of course, Joe Lewis, and I'm joined today by a man who loves nothing other than to look at frogs and enjoy their green majesty. It's Anthony Bull.
Hey Joe, how's it going?
Oh, not as well as I think you were when you were watching this episode.
Oh.
Just enjoying that froggy goodness.
Just loving those frogs. I was wondering, how will they taste when I put them in a pot?
Have you ever eaten frog?
I have had no desire to ever eat frogs. I just don't see an appeal. Like, if they were given to me, I'd be like, yeah, sure, why not? But if I saw it on the menu, I would never actively go out and purchase it. It just like, there's nothing that drives me to do that. It's maybe I'm just not one for thrill seeking, but it could be a terrible meal. You're in France. Maybe that's the only meal you get. The waiter looks at you like you're an idiot because you can't eat the fucking things. Like, I get laughed at for eating wrong at a Chinese place. The bloody French are known for being rude. They'd be like, merci, what?
We are talking about frogs today because we're looking at The Princess and the Pete, Season 4, Episode 8 of Around the Twist. We're getting towards the end now, not far away.
We are.
And let's cut the ado and launch into the teaser, which tells us a little bit about what we should expect from this episode. And this week we've got Pete dancing with a girl over what is some Gribble-branded bottled water. The water begins to sparkle as the girl drinks it. They're both dancing, they're both laughing, then all of a sudden, she turns green. Good intro or bad intro? And I want a font report this week.
All right, font report is, it's old-timey font for Princess and the Pete, but I think...
Is that all? Is that the best that you can do? Old-timey font?
Old Englishly font, I guess? I don't know.
You are a terrible font reporter.
I am a terrible font reporter. It looks all old English and shit, yo. I thought... Looks like Shrek. I even to the point where I looked up and thought, when did Shrek come out? And it actually came out, obviously.
Before?
A little bit. But not enough to actually work with the... when this was released. So, like, they would have already been shot and filmed and edited by the time that Shrek came out. So there's no way it could have been.
Oh, okay.
So
did it come out like a week before or something?
No, so it came out, like... I think Shrek came out a month or two beforehand.
Oh, okay.
It's like they would have wrapped production already.
Yep.
And I thought this chick looked like a young Amanda Tapping wannabe. For those who don't know who that is, that's Samantha Carter.
I was hoping that either you or Pontillo had looked this girl up because she looked very familiar to me.
Yeah,
I don't think it was the Stargate Amanda thing either.
Okay,
I think that's a job for later on.
Yeah, for later on when we should have researched prior.
Yeah,
yeah. That's this show though.
It's great to be prepared.
It is.
At least we did notes.
Yes, that's enough, and that's all the fans really ask.
After the teaser, we jump into the actual episode, and the twists with a bunch of other random people are having a gigantic barbecue at a park at the lake, or what we find out later is a spring. They're having this great big barbecue. Have you ever had a communal barbecue before? Just with randoms?
No, never. I just wouldn't do it.
Why? You've never had like a street party?
No, never.
Why not?
Because I don't want
Don't you like communities, Anthony?
Nope. I don't like communities.
Don't you have community spirit?
Nope. I don't have community spirit. I don't like the people in my street. Maybe I do. I don't know.
But you don't even know the people in this street.
Exactly, and that's the way I like it. All right? Honest to God, houses are merely a place where my stuff is stored and where I sleep. So it's like, do I really care about my neighbors? Maybe I do. They're probably cool. One of the dudes has a sign that says Velociraptors are here on his bloody gate because it's like he's obviously like, oh, I love fucking Jurassic World or some shit. I'm like, well, maybe you're cool.
Jurassic World, that's the first thing that springs to mind for Velociraptors, yeah?
Well, obviously, because that's what young people are like. Jurassic World, that's the latest new thing. I'm going to go see the new Ghostbusters because it's just like the old one, yo.
Let's be honest here, Anthony. Young people do not own houses.
Well, let's be honest here. I actually do own a house, so...
You're not a young person.
Well, I'm young enough, all right?
You are not.
I'm still... Actually, no, I'm not. I felt really bad the other day when I looked at the demographics. You know when they're in a survey or a quiz, they ask you for your age, and I'm not in the second band, which is like 18 to 25. You're like, okay, fair enough.
What band are we in now? 25 to 35?
Something like that, yeah.
Or 25 to 50?
25 to 35. The age bracket where you start having kids or you start making money or neither.
Yeah.
You
work at Woolworths.
You work at Woolworths and you're like, oh man, system's corrupt. It's all corrupt, isn't it? It's all corrupt. And then when you're 40, you realize the system's working for you. So you're like, oh, system's fine, guys. It's totally fine. What you got a problem, man? I've got 4 houses. I've got 4 fucking houses.
The system's not going to be working for you if you're 40 and you're working at Woolworths.
Well, you never know. If you're doing bloody night fill, they get paid all right.
Do they?
I think they do. I get paid decently.
This is an untapped market. Maybe I need to get into that.
If you get, I think they get paid like, it's not a lot, but like from unskilled labor, it's like $23 an hour, which isn't bad. That's not terrible. Great. It's better than than if you didn't have skills, right?
Well, how much does McDonald's pay these days?
It's hard to know. I don't know because was I under the wage grade? Probably like about $20.
Is that all? I thought they were like casual. 21.
They're pretty good. I mean, and of course you can grow up. You can become a manager and you get paid a lot more. So.
Anyway, we're at a communal barbecue and Pete's flirting with the 3 girls and they're wearing white. Was this a Ku Klux Klan thing here?
It's either that or a symbol of virgin purity. Or a symbol of KKK virgin purity.
Or they're all getting married.
Could be.
Maybe it's one of these lesbian polyamorous weddings.
Well, then it's definitely not
They're
KKK.
getting married to each other.
Because I don't think the KKK would support that.
Don't they? I thought they just didn't like black people.
Well, they didn't like anything that's...
Don't they?
That's destructive to the Judeo-Christian lifestyle.
Can you be a homosexual member of the KKK?
No. No, you can't. No. Absolutely not. But you can be a special person. You can be a special exemption, like a Milo Yiannopoulos, who I have seen videos where it's just like, they're like very clear white supremacists who have like, who are just like, he's gay and that's bad, but here's an exception to the rule because he's so good at this. And they just play a whole clip show. I'm like,
Anthony's hero, Milo Yiannopoulos.
It's pretty cool.
And his ongoing struggle to rejoin Twitter.
Yeah, his ongoing struggle.
So we're not doing very well this week.
Right off the bat, we're
Pete's flirting with some girls, and Tony and Faye think he's pretty desperate, which is a horrible thing to say if you're somebody's dad. Oh, he's pretty desperate. He hasn't had a girlfriend in a long time.
Well, remember, he calls his child weird. He's like, you're weird. Remember that one time?
Yeah.
Like, he's just, I don't know about him. Don't know about this Tony Twist guy.
This new Tony, he's not a great father. Meanwhile, Faye's eating about 3,000 sausages, and Linda's eating sunflower seeds. So how's that?
Yeah, she's on some vegan, bloody, raw nutrition diet. Don't know what that
seems incredibly bad for you if you were just eating sunflower seeds, right?
Yeah, it does. It totally seems like what? It seems
how are you getting your vitamins?
Magic through the essence of the universe, of course.
You just end up taking a bunch of supplements, and then that kind of defeats the purpose, right? Because where do all these supplements come from?
Yeah, but it looks like you're doing good things with your sunflower seeds. It looks like you're committed to a healthy lifestyle. She's full of shit, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's going to cave any minute now.
If you had to go on one of these super restrictive diets, which one would it be?
It would be the lead diet.
The lead diet, where you literally just eat lead.
Where I literally put a bullet to my brain. And yes, eat lead.
So if you... Really, though?
Yes.
What diet would you choose? Would you choose paleo? Would you be vegan? What would you choose?
Oh, my God.
Would you be one of these super high-calorie diets?
Paleo, I guess.
Would you be one of these chicken breast and rice people? Could you do that? Could you eat chicken breast, rice and veggies for every meal?
Well, yeah, I guess so. I mean, what is it, just chicken and rice?
These people that are putting on mass, like working out, they eat like 5 meals a day, where a lot of them will go chicken breast, like chicken breast. They'll cook it all up in advance. Chicken breast, white rice, and some steamed vegetables.
I don't think I can do that.
That's it. For every meal. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, second lunch, all of them.
I reckon if I had to go, it'd have to just be bloody paleo. Okay, just
paleo.
Probably the easiest one. You don't have to do anything other than not eat grains.
Yeah,
which is kind of shit.
Paleo is pretty restrictive.
Yeah, but you can still eat some other food like meat and...
It's mostly meat. That's kind of the point.
And that's the thing. I like to project my dominance over animals. And you can't do that as a vegan.
How about that meat cancer, though?
Yeah,
you'll be loving that.
I love meat cancer. It's the best kind of cancer. It eliminates the weakest of society, I guess.
While you're on the ranking cancers.
Yeah, on the ranking cancers.
Is meat cancer better or worse than concrete cancer?
Which we found out was actually a real thing.
Yeah, we did.
From, I think it's a Canadian listener.
Yeah, we'll get to that in the feedbacks. I hope you have that prepared.
I have not got that prepared.
All right, well, you can work on that throughout the episode and load that up at some point. Bronson is collecting bugs for his buggeria, and Faye says, "Oh, I think it's an insectarium." And Bronson says, "Listen, Faye, you can go and take a bloody long hike because I have no
You
need.
can take a walk off that cliff.
I have no need for your insolence.
You're a bit of a smart ass, Faye.
Pizzas come from pizzerias. Bugs come from buggerias.
I can't fault that logic. I cannot fault that
can't
logic.
fault it either.
Look, I bet you he would say, I need to go see a bugologist too, right?
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
It's just fucking obviously.
That's clearly a real thing.
Okay, I usually refer to things as bug emporiums or any type of emporiums where things are stored. So a coffee emporium, a plate emporium.
Yeah.
Whatever, man. It stores it there. So
We're in the podcast emporium right now.
Podcast emporium, where we ddeliver podcasts fresh from the mouths to your ears. Well, it's actually more sort of refrigerated.
Yummy,
and sort of,
yummy fresh goodness.
kind of heat it at home, so it's kind of like a home pizza, sort of like shrink wrapped into your brain, if you will.
Gribble arrives in a big truck with the Gribble gang, and he's going to suck out all the water out of this spring to sell it, because apparently it's magical. It's magical water. It's clean, it's pure, it's fresh, it's great.
Here's my problem with this Harold Gribble man. He's basically, first off,
Yeah.
let's point out the obvious. He's manipulating government,
Yep.
right, to get a permit to do something that he shouldn't be able to do. Secondly, the water he gets looks like shit. It's covered in dirt, so I
Yep.
understand that. And 3, he's a liar anyway, so just get it out of the tap and say it comes from a magic spring. That's what I
Yeah.
would do.
Yeah.
Say, it comes from the, what's the highest mountain in Australia called?
Mount
Kosciuszko?
Vesuvius?
Is it Kosciuszko?
I don't know. Sure, why not?
Mount Vesuvius is in Australia.
It's right next to Monte Blanc.
Mont Blanc, the
Yeah.
pen maker.
It's right next to Mont Blanc.
Fair enough. I reckon he could have just said, it comes from Kosciuszko Mountains and it goes down the river. And then, whatever, it doesn't have to matter. It just comes from a fucking tap. Who cares? You make so much more money than draining it out of a bloody river when someone gets sick with bloody river cancer or river AIDS or something.
Yeah, well, we're on the cancer bandwagon. Yeah, no, you're right. This is a dumb plot, and it was almost straight out of a Captain Planet episode.
Yeah, it was.
We're going to pump all this water out of this small town creek to make lots of money. Ho, ho, ho.
It's like, we got to stop him. Oh, no, put our powers combined. But they didn't have that.
No.
They had something else.
What did they have?
Some sort of Amanda tapping genie lady.
Amanda Tapping. It's just funny that you know her name as Amanda Tapping. Like that's a level of familiarity which only comes from some late night Google searches and a box of Kleenex.
I guess so. Or you can just pay attention to the Stargate intro. Instead of being amazed by the visuals of it, you go, the one with the picture of Amanda Tapping. Her name's Amanda Tapping. There you go.
All right, smartass. What are the rest of the cast names in Stargate SG-1?
All I know is Richard Dean Anderson.
Well, that's easy because he's MacGyver.
Who's that old
Teal'c.
fucker?
Are you talking about General Hammond, or are you talking about the old man Goa'uld?
I don't know that guy. Fucking don't even know the other ones now. Actually, no. Wait, one of them was no. He was actually Kurt Russell in the movie. That's Daniel Jackson, but I don't know who Daniel Jackson plays. Who's that old? Who's General Hammond? Who's General Hammond?
General Hammond's the old bald guy.
No, but who plays him? I know him. He's got a specific name.
Yeah,
he's got a specific name.
He's got a specific name, as does every other human on the planet.
He's got a very specific name, and it's Charlie Charlie Chackerman.
Why did you tilt the microphone further away from your mouth?
Because
I'm giving you you did it again. I was giving you the signals. Point it closer to your mouth, not away from it. That's not how technology works.
On fire.
Turn it back a little bit. Why are you quoting the Kings of Leon?
Is that the song?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The sex is on fire. That's the song, right? Which I always found to be obscure and painful.
Imagine, is that about STDs?
I don't know. Maybe.
You'd think
if you had gonorrhea or something.
Sex on fire.
What song is that?
I don't know. Your desire to get rid of herpes.
Yeah, okay. Let's move right along. So, Gribble's sucking all the water out of the spring, and it's leaving the frogs dry.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out that Gribble apparently has a permit. And he's turned his sucking device to maximum.
Mm-hmm.
At school, Pete's running late, and he crashes into a new girl, knocks stuff everywhere, and he says, nice to Pete you. My name's Meat. Hilarity. And snap... What?
Nice to meet you. Nice to Pete you. My name is Meat.
Yeah.
And then he'd just say, no, I want to put my meat in you. Right? Is that what he wanted to say next? But the censors wouldn't let him. that how the ABC works now?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. We'll get into them a bit later, but
They let those couples, those same-sex couples on bloody ABC, but they won't let them talk about putting meat in the bloody that girl.
Are you still talking about the two mums on Play School?
Oh,
Is this something we're still talking about?
Who cares? It happened
It's 10 years later.
No, it happened again apparently.
did it?
And they were like, "Oh my god, it's fucking
Was there really outrage over it?
Yeah.
that was literally a John Howard escapade that we've talked about multiple times on the podcast, and it happened again, and people are surprised and they're upset about it.
Ugh.
Oh my goodness.
Kids these days, eh?
Which, people are always going to have their things about what kids should and shouldn't watch, and I think the government should always be by default fairly conservative with taxpayer funded stuff, right? I don't really like taxpayer funded art, to be honest.
I think you can go take a walk.
Yeah,
right,
a long walk off that cliff.
Yep. Down to privatisation.
But I think if you are funding stuff with the arts, you need to make it pretty conservative. Channel 10, Channel 9, they can do whatever they want. They want to have two mums on bloody What's in the Box. They can do that.
If they want to have a TV show dedicated to two mums getting married to each other at first sight, I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to watch it, I'm not going to watch a show about a guy and girl get married at first sight or some shit. I don't fucking know. Whatever happens in that show.
This is the thing, though, and let's not get too sucked into this, but people who like that kind of lifestyle or advocate for that kind of lifestyle know that people generally aren't that interested in that kind of thing. It turns out that people generally aren't interested in other people's bullshit unless it's interesting bullshit, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to go and get married to someone, that's fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever gender. I really don't care. But some people
get married to a washing machine. I don't give a fuck.
Some people get interested as soon as it becomes interesting, and that's when you have TV shows because they have interesting stories, right?
Yeah.
Now, they want that kind of thing pushed upon the children of tomorrow because it furthers their agenda and it normalizes their lifestyle, which is, a fair enough thing to want. You're treated as an outsider. You want people to think that you're normal. So you're going to target the youth, which is, okay, whatever. Just don't do it through taxpayer subsidized stuff. Is that okay? Is that an outrageous opinion to have?
It is, right? It is. And you know why? Because then someone will bring up, school chaplains and shit. And I'm like, here's my solution.
That's true as well.
Here's my solution to this. No. Here's my solution to this. All right? How about you defund both of them, right? And you get privately funded for each of those.
Yeah, well, that's what I was about to say as well, yeah.
Because that argument doesn't work on people like you and me, because the answer is, why are we spending public money on fucking anything anyway? Privatise it.
Yeah, I think if you want to do that stuff, it can be privatised. We shouldn't have to pay for your agenda, whatever it might be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing we should be paying for is roads. Because we love our roads.
The roads. My girlfriend has a thing at their work where they put up an inspirational quote of the week.
Did you get her to put up something for you?
And they usually put something really depraved. Yeah. And they're like, oh, what could it be this week? And my girlfriend said, oh, let's put up taxation is theft. And they were all like, oh. And so they put it up. Taxation is theft, A. Rand. I don't know if A. Rand was the original person who said it, but she is forever my hero, so I'm okay with that.
That's amazing.
But, anyway, my girlfriend's boss was like, but I do like roads. And it's like, oh, come on. Be original.
Come on,
You're not the first person to say that you like roads.
And you know what I say to that? You dumb bitch. All right?
Whoa.
All right?
You can't say that.
As far as I understand, roads aren't paid with fucking taxes. They're paid with your rates. I mean, aren't they paid with your fucking rego?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, then fuck you. That's registration, not taxes.
Yeah, that's true. That is actually a good argument. Rates and registration. Anyway, are they paid by rates? I don't know.
No, I just said rates because I couldn't think of the word
maintenance through rates.
Yeah.
Rates pays for maintenance.
Although there is technically some taxes that come through because it's federal funding that go through larger programs. So like highways and stuff.
Yeah,
but
they're federally
you can fund
funded.
those. But that argument is irrelevant because you can fund those with toll roads. So
or GST.
Because what we're talking about is not those. We're talking about the ones in suburbs.
Yeah,
that's the one that everyone talks about, and those are funded with your bloody rego. So piss off, dumb bitch.
You're very aggressive today. I don't like you going around calling people bitches.
Well, you could edit it out, whatever. I don't care.
Then you're just making me a lot of work at that point.
Yeah, I guess so.
Just be nice to people. Anyway, we're about 3 minutes into the episode, and Snap says, "Oh, I think Pete, you can show around the new girl, Jade. You can show her around." And Groob's like, "Oh, oh, I want to show her around. And his
Yeah.
mate says, you're going to turn the babe magnet up to 11.
That's a little Spinal Tap reference if you didn't
Yeah,
know.
the Spinal Tap mixed in with, just creepiness off the tap.
Yep, exactly.
And Grib and Pete, they're arguing over who's going to show Jade around. They're like, I'm going to show around. No, I'm going to show around. And Jade's like, actually, all I want to know is that who's sucking all the water out of the dam.
And then Pete's like stands there with his big crap-eating grin, I guess.
He's like, oh, Gribble's dad's doing it. And she's like, you're disgusting. And then goes to have lunch with,
You know
with
what?
Pete.
Maybe she wasn't worth Gribble's time. That's all I'm saying. All right? That's all I'm saying.
What is with you today?
I'm just saying that, maybe she doesn't like him for him, not because he looks like Leonardo. That's all I'm saying.
Leonardo?
Yeah.
Who's Leonardo? The turtle?
Leonardo the turtle. Doesn't look like Leonardo the turtle.
He doesn't have a shell.
Doesn't have a shell, all right? He hasn't got no turtle power. So he
No.
should just be himself and just hang out with his friends.
Pete's eating lunch with his new friend. And she's like, oh, no, I don't need anything. I'll catch something later. And he's like, what? That's a bit weird, whatever. And then she shoots out her tongue because she's a frog.
Get
and
it?
And catches
Get
a
it,
fly
guys?
off his shoulder. I don't know. So, yeah, this whole, I don't know how let's talk for a second
Yep.
about how twists are handled in Around the Twist.
Okay.
Okay? I'm not talking about the family. I'm talking about twists or reveals.
Yep.
Sometimes it's handled well. Like, there's something that we're not supposed to know and then they refer to it later. Or, the frog thing, whether or not we were supposed to know in this episode. They did it really clumsily. It was like, oh, there's something going on with the frogs. Oh, she's a frog.
Get it?
But if they'd held on to it, I don't think it would have worked either. Because if you revealed it at the end, you would have been like, yeah, of course, we knew it was a frog.
Yeah.
I think that was fairly obvious at this point.
And it wasn't even the main part of the story either. Like,
No, well, not really.
wasn't really trying to run through the whole twist, and it's like, oh, I love you, because like that would have been the cliche story. They kind of liked each other, and then she turns out to be a frog, and she doesn't really like him. She just used him, and that would have been the conflict, and then it would have come back at the end. But it's like that's just you honestly don't have enough time to fucking do that to set up that story. So it's like, fuck it, she's a frog, and Pete doesn't know that,
Yeah.
and she just turns back into a frog throughout the episode.
The reason that we find out that she is a frog so early, I think, is because we can push that thing where we're following that angle of somebody being unattracted to somebody of a different racial type than them. That's basically what they're playing at with this, right? Mm-hmm. And we'll get to that a a little bit further on when she starts to turn really green.
It's exactly
green.
like that, and it's just like, okay, ham fist. You get that ham fist. They get a fist made of ham, and they're gonna put it into you somehow. I don't know how. Through your mouth, maybe, or the other way. You never know. And they're just trying to ham fist this message into you about race and how everyone's beautiful, even people with
they can.
even people with missing half a face, and it's all caved in, and their skin's turned pink. They're still beautiful, guys.
I've never been somebody who's defined who I'm attracted to by a certain race.
Or color of skin.
I don't
or
think I've ever
whatever.
dated anybody who's not been Caucasian, but that's not because I was unattracted to them. It's just because I never met somebody that I liked that also liked me.
I can also say.
Oh, wait, there was that one girl.
Who?
The girl from the chess tournament. Do you remember?
Oh yeah, the girl who was the girl was like this. Who the fuck is your creepy friend? I'm like,
she did
that's
not.
Joe.
You're a liar.
Can you keep him away
No,
from me? I'm like,
It's
all right, my problem.
Stop
not
the
my
line.
problem, woman. And then I beat her in a chess game. I was like, boom, get out of here.
You did not.
I did not. She
No,
probably kicked
she
my
was.
ass
She was
if
all
it was
over me. Anyway, we were at this chess tournament. I was self-appointed school chess captain, and we went with about 6 other guys, and we went to this chess tournament in which we lost very poorly. To all these other schools where they'd actually tried, like proper private schools. Ours was a private school that was basically a state school pretending, really.
Yeah.
And we got hammered, except for this one guy who he beat everyone.
He knows his chess, and he also pleased to play me every day in tag.
Yeah.
In our little home group. Whatever it is.
Roll mark.
Yep. Roll mark.
But he anyway, we're at this tournament, and this girl was flirting with me, whatever. And I was, how old were we? 16, 17?
17.
Yeah, I
Were we
didn't.
17? Hang on. Yeah, I would have had to have been 17. 'Cause
I didn't know how
I remember
to-
smoking at the chess tournament.
Yeah, but that's not because you were allowed to.
That's because I remember that's when I was smoking. So, yeah, about 17.
Yeah. Anyway, the point
Go
of my
on.
story was that I was 17, didn't know how to speak to women, and didn't give her any contact information when we left, and was like, oh, well, I ruined that. But yes, there was one point where I almost had a romantic encounter with somebody of a different race. But anyway, the point of saying that was people get whole hung up on this thing where, racial attraction and stuff like that. It doesn't matter. We're all people.
Yeah.
Be friends and have relations with whoever you want.
Mm-hmm. And you know what?
It's none of my business.
If you can't find a person who has a different color skin attractive... Right?
What?
If you can't find her attractive...
Yeah.
I don't see how that's really your problem.
It's got nothing to do with anybody.
It's got nothing to do with what you think. And when I say attractive, I don't mean like I don't mean like mentally attractive or that person's okay. It's like literally if they don't get you,
no, but
going downstairs, then they're not for you. All right, and there is nothing you can probably do to solve that problem.
Physical attraction is nobody's business other than your own.
Exactly.
If you're attracted to a broom closet, then that's your business. If you're attracted
to a broom closet, stay in the closet. You'll probably be happy. And I don't mean closet as in like that's where the gay thing or not revealing that you're in a broom closet. I mean literally go find a broom closet and hop inside. You'll probably be like in ecstasy.
It's warm and safe in there.
I know. And
maybe like that. Maybe you have some sort of womb complex. Who knows?
Who knows?
It's not me to judge. That's the whole point. It's none of my business. Who you're attracted to is your own business.
And I DGAF, all right?
So if you're not attracted to somebody because they are a broom closet and you're not attracted to broom closets, then nobody should care. Because that's your own...
You're a broom racist.
It doesn't make you a broom racist. It just makes you not attracted to broom closets, which I think is, a fairly normal, but whatever. Yeah. It's not my position to judge.
Well, it sounds weird to say those things, but if you said I'm not attracted to a very large women, or I'm not attracted to very skinny women, or I'm not attracted to mannish looking women,
and I think
that would be considered to be somewhat okay. But if you said, I just don't really have a thing for white chicks, it might be that. All right. Or there's some girls who are like, I don't have a thing for anything other than Asian men. I don't know what it is. That's your stick. That's your thing. Yeah, but fucking go with it. I mean, whatever.
We've skipped ahead, so I'm sure we have some listeners that are saying, well, I don't know what they're talking about at this point. But what we are talking about is the Jade in question. She is a frog person, and she gradually turns greener until she gets really green. And we're talking about whether or not because the episode kind of feels a bit judgy about whether or not you should be attracted to people that are different. But I've had to think about it while we've been talking, and I don't think it's actually saying that you should be attracted to different whatevers. I think it's more saying, should you be attracted to somebody if they change? And can we just put like a stamp on that and come back to that when that actually starts to happen in the episode so we can cover more of the content before we spiral off into that debate?
Mm-hmm.
Pete says, I may not look it, but I'm totally green. And she says, me too. Because, she's a frog and she is green. And she will be literally green a bit later. And Pete says, let's go have dinner at my house and let's work out how to save the pond after. And she's like, yeah, sounds good. First date, would you take somebody home to your parents for dinner?
No, that's the first mistake, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that? They just ask weird questions and they'd be like, so Jade, what do you do? Well, I'm obviously at school, you idiot.
Yeah.
Oh, where'd you come from? Oh, I came
from
a pond. Oh, I've never been to a pond. Is it a nice place? Is it in New South Wales? And they would have been like, no, a pond. There's a lot of water there. Or there'd be something like, it's amphibious. What do your parents do? Oh, they like to study marine animals. Oh, marine biologist. Oh, that's a great profession. Blah, 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 blah. And then you'd have your sister just eating her fucking sunflower seeds. And you'd be like, who is that? And why is she so weird? And then you'd have this Bronson kid who's trying to grab your scent with like some scent catching device and be like,
great first date.
Yeah, you made a mistake.
What happened to the traditional movie? What happens to the traditional first date dinner in a movie? Well, isn't that what you're supposed to do in high school?
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Or it's supposed to be, you're supposed to go to a movie, all right? Because you can barely afford to go to both. You got to go to one. And you got to see some crappy movie. You can take them to Subway and you can get 2 for 1 6-inch subs. Yeah, and then you make a joke about how you're going to give her another 6-inch sub later.
Oh wow, no, that was not an everybody thing. I think that's just an Anthony thing. They're in the lighthouse, and Bronson's feeding rotten vegetables and bugs to his bugs. Jade arrives and admires Bronson's golden Noranda roaches, and she eats one when Pete arrives, and Bronson notices one is missing.
He doesn't count, yeah.
Yeah, because he's got 20 golden Noranda roaches.
He's a smart kid sometimes. Sometimes he's an idiot, but you know.
It's dinner. And Linda's eating sawdust.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. She says she's eating sawdust. Who could know? She probably is.
Psyllium husk, probably.
Psyllium... What?
Psyllium husk. I don't know.
What is that?
I don't know. You use it to make yourself poo. I don't know. Nature people eat it, and it looks like sawdust.
Jada says that she's only in town for a short while, and she's not hungry because she grabbed a late lunch, and Bronson is very suspicious of that. And Pete starts just saying weird shit about frogs' eating habits. He's like, oh, this frog eats this... This frog eats dried skin. This frog eats more than its own body weight. It's like, all right.
And it's really impressing the chick. So, you know, he understands. He gets
He's
it.
in.
He's in. You know, that's the first step to picking up with the chick is to pretend to take an interest in her subjects.
You're in, mate.
You're in. You're in with that, you know.
A little bit later, Jade and Pete are outside, and they're in a place that I've actually been. I actually stood at this, I have a photo of me standing at this exact place where Jade and Pete are at this scene.
Wow.
In front of the lighthouse.
Just wow.
Majesty.
Yes.
Anyway, they're standing outside, and we'll cut to a note that one of our listeners has sent in, Regan Pontillo, the man who started it all by sending in information. Well, he didn't start everything. You know, there's things in this world that weren't started by Pontillo, but something that he did start was Pontillo's Pontifications, the part of the show where we read out notes from our listeners that they have sent in with contributions towards the episode, things that they thought about while watching the show. And Pontillo's got, for this week, he's got something that Jade says to Pete. You're really in touch with nature, Pete.
Yeah.
After Pete has said, oh, I like nature.
Yeah.
And then Pete says, yeah, I like to be in touch with a lot of things.
Ooh.
And Regan says, steady on there, Pete. I'm surprised the ABC let that one slide through. Well, it was, you know... It's pretty risque.
Yeah, look, it was a pre 9/11 world. Crazy things happened. Right?
Mm.
Man, this is before those towers went down and the world changed forever. That was back when in our children
the Wild West.
You could make those kind of sex jokes.
Do you think that it was intended to be an innuendo?
Yeah, it had to be, right?
I don't know.
I think I wrote it down in my notes that was exactly what it was. Yeah.
Pete says, two people, fresh air, great view, nature. It's clear what happens next. And Jade says, right, let's get to our plan. What's the first move? So Pete's obviously wanted to make out with her and didn't get to. And he says, oh, the first move, oh, I don't know. I guess you ask him to stop.
Yeah, you ask Gribble to stop whatever he's doing.
Jade's like, that is a good idea. Which, you know, it actually is. Yeah. You know, I think that should be your first port of call. Don't like something somebody's doing, ask them to stop.
Yep.
You know, how many world crises would have been stopped if this was the case?
Think about it, right? Tank Man in China. What did he literally do? He stood in front of a tank and said, I don't like what you're doing. Please stop.
Tank Man.
And then he sort of went away. But, you know, he told the tanks to stop.
Yeah.
So take a page out of Tank Man and stand in front of some tanks.
Bay of Pigs.
Pigs.
I don't like what you're doing here. Can you please put away those nuclear weapons?
See, if he had done that instead of trying to invade, things might have been different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Things might have been much more different.
It's Gribble's office, and Jade's here, and she's blocking Mr. Gribble's entrance to the building. And Jade says, "Please, sir, stop pumping water. You're upsetting the frogs." And Gribble says something here that I'm going to read out as captured by Mr. Pontillo, and he says, "So I have to choose between unhappy frogs and a new car, yacht, jacuzzi." And Regan says, I'm not sure if this topic has been discussed on the podcast before, but this made me think about the pros and cons of each decision and whether neglecting the environment would have any long-term implications versus financial gain in the short term. What's the point of making money in this world if we end up with a world we can't live in?
Too right.
Too deep for me there.
Not even too deep, man. It's the truth. It's the truth.
So you got to save the environment so you can have a nice car? Isn't that the ongoing point of Captain Planet, though?
The ongoing point is that if you're just basically thinking about your next new car, your next new possessions, as far as I'm concerned, you're trapped within a cycle of unhappiness, using material possessions to try to fill that void in your life.
Yeah.
All right. And you could argue this is the problem with some people when it comes to capitalism, and that they do just think about this. But then if they earnestly really thought about their future and they thought about their kids' future, which a lot of these people who make shitloads of money tend to have kids,
Yeah.
people do, people would actually make more friendly choices for their kids.
Yeah.
Right? Because when you get to the levels of the Elon Musks of the world, it's like they're so wealthy that, fuck it, who gives a shit, right?
Yeah.
They want to do something of purpose. They want to bring back some purpose and use their wealth to do that.
Yeah.
And I guess that's something, praiseworthy.
Well, this is the Hoggish Greedley analogy from Captain Planet, the big pig man who wants to make a whole bunch of money. And is he doing that at risk of his son, Junior the pig man? That's really the episode, the Roadhog episode in a nutshell.
I want to really point this out, though.
Okay, point it out. Use that pointer finger.
Point. Bloody Gribble would not have the wealth in order to purchase these commodities, these crappy possessions.
Luxury goods,
right? If people didn't buy his bloody water. Clearly people want to buy his water, so that not enough people actually care. But for somehow, people care enough to be able to force change with their numbers. So either there's a vocal minority doing it, or you're being a hypocrite, and you need some way of protecting yourself from your own inability to deal with problems. Or to say, I don't want this grip of water, because it's not even fucking essential. It's just water. You get it out of a tap, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if you really have a problem with where this water is coming from, just stop drinking it.
Yeah, and put a hold on that one as well, because we'll definitely come back to the vocal minority and the voice of the people. But Gribble, he's not impressed.
Yeah.
We cut the scene to school, and Bronson is spying on Jade from the bushes with binoculars, and Pete catches him and says,
That's a crime.
What? To
That's
spy
a
on
crime.
people with binoculars?
I'm pretty sure that spying on people with through a telescopic lens is considered a crime.
Really?
Voyeurism.
Oh.
I think so, yeah.
Even if they're not doing anything exciting?
Doesn't matter if they're doing sexual things or not.
Oh.
It's just because you're looking at someone through the telescopic without their permission. So it's like...
Is that the same with drones and stuff?
I don't know how that works. Well, the thing is, if you're following... It would have to be proven...
Yeah.
That you're spying on someone in order to do it. With drones, you can just fly around and be like, I'm not spying on this person. Look, I have a whole bunch of other images here as well, so I'm not spying on them.
Well, I saw these videos when drones were first becoming consumer accessible about these people that were flying around trying to get scenic shots at the beach, and then this guy was doing that, and this girl came up to him and just started like abusing him and basically like physically attacking him, like, stop trying to like perv on me, and he's like, whoa, like I was trying to take a video of the bit, like the scenic landscape of the beach. I wasn't here to zoom in and perv on you. But I guess that's probably what it looked like.
You know what I'd say to that? I'd look him up and down and be like, listen, honey, in a very catty gay voice. I'd be like, listen, honey, you're not worth it. I'd hire a person to click for me as well, because I can't click.
Of all the things that you've said and done on the podcast, that is the one that has shocked me the most. I did not see that coming. I was like, before you said anything, I was like, oh my goodness, what is he going to say? Is he going to say like, I'd punch her in the mouth or something? And then you said you do that. So that one caught me off guard. Bronson's spying on Jade, and Pete's like, what's the problem, mate? Don't you like her? Don't you like her? Stop doing that. And Bronson's like, oh, on the contrary, she likes bugs way too much. She's bizarro.
On the contrary.
Yeah.
It's your old mate Aristos.
And Pete and she's bizarro, and Pete says she's not bizarro. She's just a beautiful girl who is really attracted to me. There's nothing weird about that at all. Do you think there's something weird about somebody being attracted to Pete? They kind of push that.
Not really.
Well, they really push it. Like it's a. This is something I wanted to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you think that this episode integrates itself into your Peter's gay theory?
I think it might. Yeah.
How?
Well, okay. Frogs come from tadpoles, yes?
Okay.
What do tadpoles look like?
Tadpoles look like semen.
What? Yep, right. So he likes semen. Boom.
Yeah, but
problem solved.
Women
come
from eggs.
Yeah, they do.
And what fertilizes the egg?
I believe that would be
semen.
Semen. Boom.
Females are also semen.
Damn. Fuck. I don't know about that then.
I thought you were going to take the angle of the green girl is going through a transition.
Oh yeah, could be he's interested in maybe
a trans person.
Maybe he's interested in a trans person, or maybe
that's
is
stretching
trans.
a bit. That's reaching.
It is reaching. It's reaching a lot. But I'm all for reaching anyway. Besides, you know what? She was it this episode or next episode? Somebody was wearing a rainbow flag t-shirt. I can't remember if this episode or if it was the next episode. A rainbow flag shirt.
I don't know.
I think it's next episode.
Probably next episode.
Which I'm just like, well, I see what's going on here. A little clear message about Pete, but we'll get into that.
But Pontillo wrote in with something that I missed, and he said, "Look, she's just a beautiful girl who's deeply attracted to me. What's bizarre about that?" And then Bronson comes in with a burn. Everything. Something that I failed to write down. So good burn there from Bronson and good pickup from Pontillo.
As always.
It's lunchtime, and Jade's sharing her bug, snail, fungi, and larvae sandwich with Pete, which obviously he's not impressed by. This is no Bronwich.
No, it's not. But he's trying. He's trying.
He's trying hard.
He's really trying to take an interest in this girl. Could you imagine kissing this girl? Her mouth would probably taste like an aquarium. Be disgusting.
An aquarium.
Yeah. Or worse.
And Jade says...
I'm sorry, but I'm just saying that people have bad breath.
Yeah.
Hers would just be rank. Come on. It'd have to be the most rank breath in the world.
She's eating bugs.
Yeah.
Jade says the first move failed, and Pete says, well, the second move we can do. And Linda approaches, and she's got a plan. Classic Linda, just stepping in on in.
You know what I call a girl like that?
What?
Nosy.
Nosy
B word.
She's like, oh, you're doing something activist. I need to be involved because I'm the activist character.
Yeah, this is my shtick. Stay out of my territory. All right?
Yeah. And she gets... The thing with Linda this whole season, she gets really annoyed whenever Pete is involved in these things. He's like, he doesn't really care about the issue. He's just in it for the girls. I can't believe him. He's terrible. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, why is that an issue? If somebody's actively promoting your cause, even if it's for the wrong motives, is that bad?
You feel like the opposite of the bandwagon effect happens. You know when people, they originally like something and then they all jump on the bandwagon?
Yeah.
And then you basically have to make a big point that you were there first. Because you're special. You're different. Because usually those people who jump on the bandwagon are only half interested. They only know half the things. And so when people talk about them in public as to disparage them, it's like, oh, that's only those people. I was there first, and I know this. It's bullshit that the name of the thing I like is being brought down by these people.
It is bullshit, though.
It is. It is. It's like nerds. And it's like, hey, hang on. You were never picked on for being a nerd.
Yeah, no, that does irritate me a lot. People talk a lot about cultural appreciation and stuff, and it's like appropriation
of nerd
appropriation.
Culture.
But you know, I think we've mentioned this before on the podcast, but nerd culture has been appropriated.
It has,
and it does hurt. Yeah. But you know, I think it's something that ultimately you just have to get over. You know, just like any cultural appropriation, it's something that humans do.
Yeah,
they appropriate cultures, and it's how societies grow.
Culture,
they take things from other cultures and they reintegrate them.
Is a buffet that everyone grabs from.
Yeah.
All right. Stop trying to protect it with like a little barrier that says, "Oh, this is Mexican, but this is Portuguese." Nah, fuck it.
So you can't do something from another culture because that's theirs. You know, that's not how humans work. You know, the Greeks and the Romans, they stole gods from everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I'm myself, so I'll do whatever I want. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'll eat that Mexican food and dress up like a bloody Portuguese conquistador if I want to. That's my own goddamn right.
But we do come, and you know, you see these videos and it's like somebody's wearing a poncho or somebody's wearing a bloody, I don't know, Indian headdress, and people get super offended. They come and they're like, dude, you can't do that. You're not Indian. And it's like, or American native or whatever. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know the correct name.
The correct name is, I believe, Redskin. I believe that is the correct name.
Okay. All right. You stick on that. Right. But they get all carried away about this, and it's like, well, you know, I don't know. Like, we're humans going to do it. But from the other hand, I've had this firsthand, right, where you've been like, nerd was a bully word.
Yeah.
You know, people actively used it to put you down and did horrible things. Like, I was bullied pretty bad in primary school. People threw my shit in a tree. Like, it was bad, man. And
Yeah,
now
man.
people are like, oh yeah, I'm a nerd because I saw Star Wars once. Or I play Pokemon Go, so I'm a nerd. And it's like,
Exactly.
well, are you?
Yeah.
Or are you just jumping on?
People are just jumping on the bandwagon. That's fine. Whatever. Who cares?
Nerd is the N-word of my own impression.
It is. It is in your words. It's fine with me. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's all I could say. I've got a bag of Fs. Got a bag of Fs. But I'm fresh out. And I don't want to give any more to you.
Okay.
Like I say, come back to me tomorrow, baby. I got a full bag, but outlooks looks bleak. I'll tell you that much.
Okay, so this is the part of the episode where we start to get obscure.
We start to get political.
We start to get.
That's not gonna happen on this show.
No, I mean this is the part of the actual episode where it gets weird. We're on the beach. Gribble set up a snake oil store basically for all his bottles of water, and Rabbit is on crutches. And Tiger is in a water bottle costume, and he's dancing around on stage going, "Burr, burr, burr, water has magical properties." And then Gribble comes on stage like a snake oil salesperson.
He looks like Benny Hinn.
Well, this is what Pontillo said as well. He said this whole scene reminds him a lot of those churches you see on TV where people are blessed and healed.
Church like a
and that's what they were clearly going for as well. Yeah. And Rabbit's a plant in the crowd, and Gribble's saying, "This wood has magical properties. You with the crutches, are you as lame as you look?" And he's like, "Yes,
I'm pretty lame.
Yes, I am pretty lame." And he's like, "Do you believe? Do you believe in the water?" And Rabbit says, "Yes, I believe." And Gribble's like, "Believe and be healed." And then he drinks some water, and Rabbit is healed. And people buy lots of water because they can't believe it.
I guess it heals them. I guess
Nell, Pete, Linda, and Jade all show up, and they start shouting that Gribble's killing the frogs, but the people don't really care. Okay, and then Tiger is like dancing on stage in the water bottle costume.
The Gribbles are like, Tiger, you deal with this. And he's like dancing on stage like, do, I'm the water bottle, do. And I guess that made people buy, that made sales skyrocket.
Well,
the roof.
The people didn't care.
Yeah, they didn't care.
Like, this is one of the things that I guess we come back to sometimes, or you were kind of saying before, and we'll get into it a little bit later still. But, you know, the large number of consumers don't often really care where their products come from.
Yeah, exactly.
People buy iPhones all the time. Where do they come from? Where are they assembled? Sweatshops.
Sweatshop China, man.
You really care? Don't buy that iPhone.
Exactly.
Don't buy those shoes. Don't buy that shirt.
If the majority of people don't care about something and it's going to kill the world, and I mean a large majority of people, maybe the world should die.
Okay.
Well, clearly it does want to die, because if nobody wants to be like, oh, I don't want to purchase this product because it's going to kill the world, then clearly they want to die. All right? Just fact. All right? That's the proxy association, all right?
Yeah, I guess. Later on, at the spring, Jade splashes some water on herself, and she's sparkling a bit, and she's talking to the frogs. She's saying, "We're running out of time. I know we're running out of time. This disguise won't last much longer, but we don't have much time. But Pete is going to save us all."
Yes.
Back at school, Bronson and Pete are together, and Bronson's saying, "I was wrong. I saw her at the pond. She isn't an alien. She's an amphibian." And Pete says, "She's totally normal. She's completely normal. There's nothing weird about her at all." Turns the corner, and Jade's doing frog backflips, basically, and impressing the whole school.
Oh, they're just so impressed.
She's also turning green. Literally turning green, and not turning green with envy.
Or green with like, well, actually when you turn green because you're sick, you are apparently turning green, but like really turning green. Like she's got like vitiligo, but it's more green vitiligo, so she's just turning green. Yeah, makes more sense when you say that.
It's art class, and the Gribbles are making some weird box art with sticky tape, and they've got stuff stuck to their heads. And Linda's drawing greedy Gribbles. Stop killing frogs. She's drawing a caricature.
She's an activist, and you know, Snapper really likes this caricature.
Snapper loves it.
He's like, oh, it's so wonderful.
Gobbles it all up.
Gobbles all out of that free art.
And Pete's doing a portrait of his girlfriend, Jade. And Snapper's like, "I'm super impressed at how creative you're being with the art palette here. That green that you're using for her face is super out of control, and I like it."
I love it right there. And then he looks and realizes, oh wait, that girl is actually green.
Yeah, which is kind of, you know, the joke there. And it turns out that Pete's a bit turned off by this green skin.
He doesn't find her attractive at all. He can't get it up.
and Linda and Jade are going to a protest, and Pete doesn't really want to go. So she's changing, right? So let's get into it now a little bit. Not too long because we haven't got that much left of the episode and we've still got a few more things to talk about. But if somebody changes, say for example, you're dating someone and they become really obese.
Yes.
And they no longer physically resemble the person that you started dating.
Yes.
Is it, morally, where do you stand on that? Like,
I have what is known as the relationship graph of length of timiness.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Pete's story is Pete's fine because you know how long have they been dating?
So what's your graph? Explain your graph.
They haven't even been dating that long. All right. So my graph is length of time. All right, versus length of versus looks. Okay.
Okay.
And length of time also assumes a lot of time you spend with that person and getting to know them.
I can't understand what's on your axis. So length of time you've been dating versus
so length of time is on the right, on the x-axis. Y-axis is attractiveness. Okay.
Change of attractiveness or attractiveness of what they are?
Change of attractiveness. Okay. So,
how much they've changed or what they actually look like?
So basically,
what are you graphing?
So I'm graphing what they've changed and how they've from the start, or just even how their difference in their looks, whatever. Okay.
So I still can't understand what you're graphing on the y-axis. Is it like their rating of their attractiveness out of 10?
Yeah, how much you might have rate their attractiveness out of 10.
Oh, okay.
If it was objective.
Okay.
Okay. At the start, right, you can have a regular, a regular length of time.
Yep.
Okay. And you then, as your relationship goes down, right, your threshold for what you would deem as being attractive,
yeah,
right, or a deal breaker, right, decreases over time.
Yeah.
In your relationship, because you spend so much time invested in that relationship, you've gotten to know that person that even if they started putting on a lot of weight, you'd still stay with them because you spent so much time with them. But if you spend very little time with them, they put on a shitload of weight. It's like, well, I don't know this person at all, so I'm only really staying because of social proclivities.
Wait, how long have you known this person when they put on a lot of weight?
How long has Pete put on this lot of weight?
Well, she didn't put on a lot of weight. She changed colour.
Changed colour.
I don't know, a couple days.
Yeah, only been there a couple of days. No, I'm not going to stay with them. I'm really going to... Because how much do you know about a person in a couple of days?
Yeah.
Very little. Do you know how much you know about a person's face in a couple of days? Tons. Because you see it. It's the first fucking thing you see. That's why people say, oh, looks don't matter. It's like, that's bullshit, because you start off dating a person that you find physically attractive, and then you go, oh, they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool people. Oh, yeah. They've actually got some interesting hobbies.
You're putting a lot of your introduction to the relationship on physicality, though.
Yeah, a lot of it is on physicality.
I guess.
Some of it could be not, but I mean, you know, unless she describes herself in Web Messenger as I'm green, you're going to be like, oh, she's probably pretty hot. Pretty hot. When did she lose that? Yeah, it's fun.
See, I've dated girls of all different shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
And I've been on a couple dates with larger girls, like when I was younger.
No, we're talking large. We're talking like land whales. We're talking like they need a mobility scooter. They're so big.
I think, I don't know. I think you are right to an extent, but it feels bad.
Well, you know what? Feeling bad is you keeping yourself from achieving your dreams.
What about this? What about this, Anthony?
Okay.
You've dated a girl for about 2 weeks.
Yep.
Getting to the point where you're official.
Yep.
Okay? You're officially dating. And she gets into a horrific accident. Mm-hmm. She's fine, apart from her face is horrifically mangled.
Yeah.
There is no way to fix it. No amount of plastic surgery will fix it.
Mm-hmm. You
liked her a lot, but now she is completely mangled and looks... she's very difficult to look at. What do you do?
Two things you can do in this situation,
boy. Please save face here. Don't make this into a horrible podcast, Anthony.
Okay, first, it involves a paper bag. Okay?
No.
Okay.
No. No.
Second thing, ask her what my middle name is.
What?
I've been dating her 2 weeks.
Oh,
What's
I
my
see
middle
what
name?
you're doing.
Right?
Yeah.
Doesn't know my middle name? So, because clearly we're not that far in our relationship that we know that I would know each other's middle names, right? And I'm just saying as an example. Like if I got really deeply invested, like if that happened to my darling wife, I'd stay with her because that I've had so much time invested in my own relationship with my own wife. But 2 weeks, I'm sorry, as hard as it would be to want to do that, you would just feel bad. That's the problem. You would feel bad. that you can't get out of
Listen,
that relationship.
this
Honestly, God, you would feel bad that you can't get out of that relationship. That's what you'd be saying. You'd be thinking, I don't find her attractive. No, you don't find her attractive at all, right? But because you're in this relationship and she's had an accident, you don't want to look like a bad guy. But the fact is, you just don't find her attractive.
Here's my take on this. Okay. I think you're kind of right, but also you kind of missed the point. I think it's not about time. I think it's about connection. I think if you meet somebody on the first day and you like instantly have an attraction with them, like some sort of crazy connection, and something happens the next day and they become horribly disfigured. I think if that connection's strong enough, I would stay with them. And it's not about the time. If I'd been with somebody for 3 years and something happened, but I didn't feel like my connection with them was strong enough, I would be leaving because of the connection, not because of the horrible disfigurement, right?
You know what?
It's all about the connection. And then this isn't like infatuation. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like, a deeper level of that.
Here's how we solve the problem the correct way, guys.
What?
The correct way. If you're
weird.
special one,
I can see you've got your cheeky grin on.
If your dearest loved one ever suffers something, and it's only 2 weeks, right, and it's had this horrible accident, all right, the best thing you can do is get some fire, okay, and start heating up these hot metal sticks.
Where are you going with this?
And then you jam them in your eyes.
What?
Right? Jam them into both your eyes. Now you can't see, and then problem solved.
Have you seen The Lobster?
No, is that where
boy turns into a lobster? Well, it's a man.
It's not Lobster Boy and Shark Girl or whatever, is it?
No, a man. This is getting really sidetracked. Very quickly, The Lobster is about it's kind of an alternative world where people are sent to this special hotel when they can't find a lover.
Me about this, yes.
If they can't find if they fall out of, they're single. If they're single, they're sent to this special hotel. They've got about 40 days to find a partner at this special hotel. Otherwise, they're turned into an animal of their choice.
Okay. That's fine. I can live with an animal.
And it's called The Lobster because the main character has chosen a lobster. If he is turned into an animal, he wants to be a lobster.
So he can be eaten.
Well, it's more... Anyway, it doesn't matter.
He likes to have sex with lobsters.
Well, I imagine if you're a lobster, you're going to have sex with other lobsters, yes.
Well, no, not if you're single. Honest to God, if you can't pick up where you're human, what chance do you have when you're across station?
The staff of the hotel are hilarious, and they're like, well... if you're single now, you're probably not going to be having sex with that animal. I think it's like a horse or something. I don't know. Anyway, Pete is turned off by the green skin. The girls go off to protest. He goes to the lighthouse and he's reading What Freakish Skin Disease Is That? The book he just happens to have at the lighthouse. And the knight appears, the mysterious knight. And she says, did you get an infection there, mate? And he's like, won't even look up. He's like, I can't even deal with this right now. You're probably a ghost. Don't want to deal with this shit. She disappears and Linda arrives. And Linda says, I'm here to fetch you, Pete, in a conversive the thing that they're saying to each other. I'm losing my words. That Pontillo has captured for us. Linda says, Pete, you're treating Jade like a leper because she's turned a tiny bit green. And Pete says, a tiny bit green? Linda, she's a human avocado. And Linda says, Pete Twist, you're nothing but a pathetic greenist. And shuts the door. And Pete says, no, I'm not. I like avocado. You know, that's the race thing that you were talking about before. They're pushing the race card there.
I like avocado as well. So, you know, and that's not some coded message about, you know, I like green girls or something, you know, like they call it jungle fever, they call it avocado fever or something. I just generally like avocados on toast.
Okay.
But, you know, I've got no problems with green girls. I mean, the green girl from bloody Star Trek was pretty hot.
Good for you.
So, you know, fucking whatever, green girl's fun.
What about the green girl from Warcraft movie?
Well, she's an orc. She doesn't count, does she?
What's wrong with that?
Well,
are you racist against orcs?
Yes, I am.
Right, we're really running out of time here. On the street, Jade climbs a wall and overhears Gribble going to a double production. He's going to double his production. He's not going to a double production.
A double production or double feature. That's what would be this podcast right now. Would be a double production because we're producing 2 in one night.
Oh, yeah. And matron, I'm going to a double feature. Oh, my God. Girl's going to a double feature. What are we going to do? And it's revealed that, as Pontillo's noted, Jade looks like she's doing some Superman-style wall climbing, which I imagine that you can do with the powers of a frog.
Superman? I think you mean
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Superman's a different guy. So this is my favorite part of the episode. Pete goes and sits by the cliffs as the waves crash in the cliffs, and he's sitting there, and it's almost like that video I mentioned to you earlier. Look up what's that Celine Dion song from?
My Heart Will Go On.
Yeah, My Heart Will Go On. There's an amazing clip on YouTube
flutes.
by a guy called Matt Mulholland.
Recorder, right?
You're a recorder. He's playing recorder to My Heart Will Go On. It is amazing. It's one of my all-time favorite YouTube videos. Matt Mulholland. Anyway, My Heart Will Go On. It's amazing. Your day will be made.
He's probably wondering like how quick it would be if he jumped off the cliff.
Yeah, he's sitting there and he's contemplating everything. And James Gribble comes over and he says, "Oh, mate, g'day. We just wanted to say that we heard that you dumped that green girl.
And you're all right, Pete Twist.
You're all right by us,
and he tries to
Twist.
give him a handshake, and it's like...
What kind of conversation is this? This is not a conversation that takes place in the real world.
Yeah, if I'm dating like a black chick, and then I break up with her, and then a bunch of Klansmen come over and just like, "Oh, Pete, Anthony, I thought you were a weirdo, but when you done that black chick, you were all right." And then this Klansman in his bloody hooded outfit sticks out a hand to me and tries to shake. I'm like, "Who the fuck are you? Who's this guy?" You know,
they're just
random dudes just want to shake my hand because
I hope we don't get too much trouble over this episode.
No, I'm just saying it's a weird thing to open with. Just, like, did they basically?
They came to visit him. It wasn't like they went.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They literally were like, "Oh, guys, we got to go visit Pete Twist and shake his hand because he's not dating a green chick anymore, and that's really important. It's going to take us a couple of hours to drive to ride our bikes there." Right?
We don't know the full
they
geography.
Ride their bikes, right?
No, but this is the beach where pretty much everything has been taking place, so I don't think it's that far from
let's assume it's half an hour away.
If we're accepting the canon from Season 2, this is on Pete's walk home from the lighthouse, which we've worked out is less than half an hour. All right, so it's probably about 15 minutes to walk here from school. Where Gribble lives, I don't know. It's in that 15-minute walk period, which is still a bit of an effort.
Honestly, I had to go out of their way to go and shake this man's hand. It wasn't like they're in town and they're walking past each other, and one was like, "Oh, is that Pete Twist? Oh, mate, you all right for dumping that green chick? Here's a fucking handshake." And they shake each other's hands. No, it's they had to go out of his way to go shake this man's hand for being a racist.
Yeah,
that's really weird.
That's
really
weird.
really, really weird.
We're getting into some weird territory in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it's back at the spring, and Bronson, Linda, and Jade are here, and the spring's almost empty. And Linda says, "It's not about how many voices you have. It's about how loud you speak with those voices," in reference to saving the pond. And this is something, we're pretty tight for time, but this is something that I knew you have something to say about.
Oh, don't know ever.
Okay, so this is the vocal minority at its best.
Yep.
And this is the vocal minority knowing that it's a vocal minority.
Yeah.
So a group of people that know that they're not many, but know that they can get their points made by being really loud about it. And what's your opinion on that?
I wrote down in my notes, silent majority, and then I wrote activism masquerading as popular opinion.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. I don't like when the loud. I don't like when louder voices manipulate media channels to make themselves seem larger than they are in order to force through legislation that affects the majority of people.
But it's ultimately, I was thinking about
those
this,
people can go and take a fucking walk off the cliff.
I was thinking about this, and ultimately, it's your right. If you care about something that much to be able to make a big fuss about it, sure. And the reason that there is a silent majority is because people generally don't care enough about all of these things to do anything. It's like they don't care. They have enough stuff to deal with. They don't really care about these issues that may or may not even affect them.
But then the thing is, if the loud minority keep talking, keep trying to push a message, if one or two people in this so-called silent majority argue, and this is the thing, calling it a silent majority is kind of dumb because you have no idea if it is a silent majority or not. Because it could just be another loud minority that hasn't woken up to be spoken yet.
Yeah.
All right? When they try to say something, they're like, "Oh, it's okay, maybe, but I don't agree with this, or maybe I have problems with this." Immediately shut down.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to shut down the conversation than it is to talk about any other issues.
See, that's my only real issue. See,
and that creates an emotional fermentation in the person, in an undercurrent. And all it takes is a catalyst out there with a loud voice who's saying things that you wish you could fucking say to spur an action. And then you end up with 4 senators from One Nation Party.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how that happens.
See, yeah, that's exactly how that happens. But the thing, see, silent minorities, I think, are okay as long as that silent minority isn't actively, going out to derogatorize, that's not the right word, another group. So, for example, I saw, I don't know if you want to get into this, but I saw you posting on a Facebook group about the advertising industry.
Mumbrella.
And there was a guy on there who posted that he was feeling like he was actually a victim of sexism because the advertising industry is now majority full of women because a lot of advertising companies find it preferable to hire women even if they have worse resumes.
And there's still an expectation of,
because it looks better.
And also that men are still privileged and women are still oppressed, even though they make a majority of the industry.
And he was saying that he's been in the industry for a while, and he feels like he's actually made fun of, like, vocally and publicly, because he is a white male in the industry. It's like, oh, you got everything handed to you, when apparently he worked quite hard as a poor person. And you posted in there, and I saw a few other people post in there, and, like, with quite reasonable comments, like saying, oh, I've seen this happen, or, I feel this a little bit. And the vitriol that came from a lot of women in that thread was really actually a little bit disturbing.
Yeah.
Like, it was like these people saying, there's no such thing as
reverse racism.
You're talking about reverse racism. This doesn't exist. This is disgusting. Why don't you shut your mouth and go about your way, you disgusting cisgendered person? And it's like, whoa, like... If you're trying to make the point for these other people, you're doing a good job about it, because the amount of vitriol that's coming from you is disgusting. Anyway, my point was about silent majorities that become aggressive and vitriolic.
And they overflow and they go hard. They go hard to the point where they become...
worse than the people they hate. Yeah, the Gribble arrives, and he's like, oh, I'm here to pump everything out. And Jade says, the frogs are going to die. And Gribble's like, ha, 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 turn on the pump. And they start pumping everything. And then Pete arrives, and he's like, stop sucking, or I'm going to turn it off myself. And Gribble's like, you and what army? And he's like, here are a whole bunch of other people that I brought. And there's Nell and all these people you don't care about, Tony Twist. And everyone's here, and they've got, prams filled with bottled water. And they spray them at Gribble like...
What are you doing?
Like, you're wasting a lot of money here.
You're wasting the water that needs
in some
to go back
cases,
into the
that's,
pond, right?
$3, $4 a bottle. Yeah, you could have just pushed that into the
No, I'm
pond.
assuming that they're honest people, and they were like, let's buy all of Gribble's water and then spray it at them. That'll show them. Because the profits...
Instead of stealing it.
Because that's what they would do, but you can't do that in a TV show.
Yeah, I wondered how this would work, because they're giving him the money anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, Pete rushes over, reverses the water, and all the water spills back into it starts pumping water back in. And Gribble says, but I have a permit. And Nell's like, listen, because I'm Nell, and I don't really have a function in Season 4, I've somehow managed to grab the original document of this permit, and it turns out that you've added a 0 to this permit, so you're actually pumping illegally. And they're like, oh, and then they spray more water at the Gribbles, because that's what you do when you have loads of bottled water.
And you don't basically call for the impeachment of your mayor, who's clearly violated the law. You're just like, no, just spray water at him. It's fine.
Everyone disappears. Once everyone's gone, Pete and Jade are here, and Pete apologizes for not liking her greenness, and Jade says, oh, I'm leaving. We just weren't meant to be together anyway. And then she kisses Pete, and she says, I'll remember you forever, even if you are the wrong color and really, really ugly. And then she turns into a frog. There's your moral statement. She didn't like him anyway.
Turns out it's okay to be racist if you're a frog.
Yeah.
Basically. It's what it's saying. But if you're not a frog, you have to like...
Reverse frogism.
Reverse frogism right there.
In the lighthouse kitchen, Pete's really sad. Tony gives Faye a half pizza because, she eats a lot now. Because she's pregnant. That's the joke.
Bad message for pregnant ladies who overeat.
What, they eat a lot?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how that works. Maybe they need to.
The idea is supposed to be like, oh, I'm eating for 2. And then doctors are like, no, actually, you're not supposed to be eating for 2 because some reason, I don't know. Doctors are funny like that. They like to control people's lives, those doctors.
And I'm just going to leave
Part
that
of
one. We
an
don't have time.
Illuminati
We don't have time for that
scam.
one. And Linda says, "Oh yeah, I'm going to eat the pizza now instead of sunflower seeds because I've decided, for no reason,
I have no
plot reason,
values.
that enlightenment through living life to the fullest is better than actual enlightenment that has proper seated values. So I'm just a massive sellout and plot."
I'm a hedonistic sellout.
There's a knock at the door. Bronson opens it, and there's two golden roach girls here. And they're like, "Bronson, we need to talk to you about our brothers and sisters that you have in your bug area." And he's like, "Oh, I don't know what?" and then they say, "Is that rotting vegetables? We'll take those." And they start eating them. And then Bronson's like, "Oh!" And then it's a classic freeze frame.
Have you ever felt like
Yep,
this?
and that's the end of the episode. Let's dive straight into it because we don't have a lot of time. In fact, we have no time left.
No time. So quick. Oh my gosh.
Regan Pontillo, let's read his summary of the episode. He said, "Not a bad episode, but it didn't interest me as much as others in comparison. I suppose there's only so much appeal to a topic that predominantly focuses on environmental aspect, although I did enjoy some of the sexual innuendo and puns scattered throughout the episode." He said 6 out of 10 bowls of spaghetti and some avocado. He likes avocado.
He does. He does indeed. I like avocado as well.
And not because it's green.
No, but because it's so sexy.
Yeah, all right. What do you think of the episode?
I gave it 6 out of 10 bowls of spaghetti, and I think it was a side order of frog's legs. No wine. I'll stick with water.
I wasn't massive on it. I thought it was okay. No, it doesn't really snack up to the old episodes of old. You know, it's kind of these weird issues that they're trying to force, like you're not really sure what they're going for type thing. I don't know. I'm going to give it 6 as well. I'm giving it 6 bowls out of 10 of the future's food, bugs, which is what we'll all be eating in 10 to 20 years from any given point, is usually the prediction from scientists.
Exactly. We'll be eating nothing but bugs because of the war on water.
Yeah.
The war for water, sorry.
No. It has to do with sustainable food production.
Oh, of course. The lie that is sustainable food production, fed to you by the iodine media.
All right. Now, you got to quickly look up that thing that you were supposed to do.
What?
You were supposed to get the guy who wrote in to tell us about the thing.
Yeah. Hang on.
So we can read it out on the air. So while Anthony's doing that, I'm going to read out something. Do we have anything on this page we haven't read out yet? No.
Yeah.
No, we read all those out last week.
Ben Tree's review of ours, how he mentioned how we reviewed, which he said, but then there was also a commentary by Phil Bates, as well as another iTunes review, which we didn't read.
So we do have some listener feedback. We have one from Phil Bates who says, "I think I gave you guys a mention when he took the lighthouse tour. The lighthouse tour being the tour of the Split Point Lighthouse at Aries Inlet, which is the actual Round the Twist lighthouse." And he said, "I'm pretty sure they did use the real lamp room in Jeremiah Kills Everyone," which is something we talked about. I didn't think that they did. And he said he remembered the chick saying that they needed all sorts of clearance and paperwork and stuff to let the kids in there, as you would, because it's at the top of a fairly tall lighthouse and you don't want things going wrong up there. We also have another iTunes review, which is awesome. iTunes reviews are great for the show, and if you can do one, that would be awesome. It's a 5-star review, which is great. "Oh yeah, that's great. My name's Anthony, and I think that's great." And it's from a man or a person named First Time Twisty, and the review's titled "A Good Listen for Ghosts." So I see what you did there. And the review says, "A podcast as a conduit for in-depth analysis of children's television of yore, an incidental crash course on psychology, politics and marketing, and the legendarium of the lives of two 20-something critics from Queensland." Wow, that's very complimentary to us, which I don't think anybody's ever described me as a 20-something critic, or my life is a legendarium. My first experience into the world of podcasts as a result of perpetual student procrastination and 90s nostalgia. Well worth it. Well, we introduced somebody to podcasting. How good is that?
That's pretty great. I have no idea who you are, but don't forget to send a screen cap.
Yep.
And send it to me, or send it to Tales from the Twists, or join Chicken Twisties and post it there.
Yep.
And we'll send you a packet of Chicken Twisties. That goes for you, Mr. Ben Tree. you just go do that? And if that is your one, Mr. Tree Man,
Why don't you
review?
just send one? Well, he's got to send you your address.
He's
so
got
you
to send
can
me the address first. I can't just be like, hey, man, can I get your address?
Yeah.
And be all creepy. I'm not going to do that. That's crazy.
Yeah, he doesn't really listen to the Round the Twist one, so we might have to message him.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
What's this other one that you've got for me?
From Nathan Holmes. All right, it's talked about concrete cancer. It said apparently concrete cancer is an actual thing. It's called alkalia silica reaction. The doctor that Mr. Gribble has introduces himself as a professor of forensic brickology, which may be tongue-in-cheek way of saying that he is a structural engineer.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love reading all the stuff that people send in. It's
Me
great.
too. Just keep sending that crazy, weird stuff. I love hearing that stuff.
But yeah, who is that again?
That is Nathan Holmes.
Nathan Holmes. Thank you, Nathan. That was a great contribution. I did enjoy reading that the other day. I had a bit of a chuckle. I was like, concrete cancer is real. Anyway, I guess you shouldn't really be laughing about cancer.
Well, it's cancer in concrete, so you can laugh about it.
Yeah, it's okay.
So
because
it's fine. It's not a person, and it's not like alive.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's end this before we get ourselves into any more trouble, because I think this episode's going to be an editing minefield as is. And if you hear me say that and you're like, "Oh, that episode wasn't that bad," just know that there's a lot that you're not hearing.
I've noted in some of our metrics that we're getting a lot of listens from Virginia. And I happen to know that the CIA is located in Virginia.
So if you're listening...
Mr. CIA, give us a rating, why don't you? Obama, Osama, bomb.
If you want to get...
Those are the keywords, by the way.
What?
That activate the CIA secret listening.
Okay.
Obama, Osama, bomb.
Do you really do that?
Yeah.
You don't do that, do you?
I do that all the time.
What are you doing? All right, we can talk about this off air. How you get in touch with the podcast?
You can find us through all of the social media links, which are from Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. All the links are in this episode description. You can find subscribe to us on iTunes at Tales from the Twist. Give us a rating again for Chicken Twisties. Join Chicken Twisties on Facebook. Links in the description. And lastly, go to talesfromtwist@wordpress.com.
That's talesfromtwist.wordpress.com.
That's correct.
You can also follow me on Joe Lewis140 at Twitter, because I've tweeted twice in my life, and I'm sure those tweets are very entertaining. One of them was anti-census.
And you can follow me on AW Bull Marketing, where I haven't posted much in a while.
And when he does, it's not relevant to the podcast.
It's not relevant to the podcast at all.
That's all we've got time for. I hope you had a great week. This is a long podcast, unless it's not, because I chopped out hours of it for content. Have anything you want to close out with?
Nope.
Okay. Have a great week. My name's Joe Lewis.
And I'm Anthony Bull.
Stay twisty.